We are very happy that you have joined us. Our first session, we dealt with Gen Zs. We listened to our Kiri, who was able to expound much on what has been happening with our Gen Zs. And thank you so much for joining us. And without further ado, let's listen to the word of God briefly from Elder Ann.
My name is Ann Irongo, patron Jprc. We are going to concentrate on our theme, which comes from the book of Matthew 7, verse 8, that says, "A good tree cannot bear bad fruits, nor can a bad tree bear good fruits." In this verse, Jesus was using the trees and their fruits to teach a profound spiritual spiritual truth about discerning truth and false prophets, and more broadly about discerning the genuineness of people's lives and action. The analogy of the trees and fruit is simple yet powerful. A tree is known as by its fruits. A good tree produces good fruits, and a bad tree produces bad fruits. The principle applies not only on the tree but also to people and their action. Jesus uses this analogy to emphasize the importance of evaluating people by the outcome of their lives and their action rather than their words or appearance alone. So I'll break down the key points of this verse. 1. Good tree versus bad tree. Just as a good tree naturally produces good fruits and a bad tree produces bad fruits, people's action and the outcome of their lives reflect their true nature. Secondly, discerning truth and false prophets. Either in Matthew 7, Jesus warns about, earlier in verse Matthew 7, Jesus warns about false prophets who came in sheep's clothes, but inwardly they are various wolves. In Matthew 7:15, he urges his followers to be discerning and judge prophets by their fruits rather than be deceived by their outward appearance of eloquence. Third, applications of daily life. These teachings goes beyond just identifying false prophets. It encourages us to examine our own lives and the lives of others. As our action producing good fruit that aligns with God's will and character. Are we bearing the fruits of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control? This is found in Galatians chapter 2, verses 22 to 23. Fourth, growth versus transformation. The metaphor also implies the potential for growth and transformation. A bad tree can become a good tree through God's work of redemption and renewal in our lives. As we abide in Christ and allow His Spirit to work in us, we can bear good fruits that glorify God and blesses others. In my conclusion, in Matthew 7:18 challenges us to examine our lives and lives of others with discernment, recognizing that true character is revealed. Though our action and the fruits we bear, it calls us to strive for lives that bear good fruits. So reflecting God's love and righteousness is all we are supposed to do. So I would request if we can become good fruits, so that whatever we bear good things from us. And as Jprc, it has to start as with us, because we are supposed to become good tree and bear good fruits to our people. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you very much, Elder Ann, our patron for Jprc Mbagathi Parish. That's a powerful word, and you have put it very well, loud and clear, that we have to be good fruits, good trees, so that we bear good fruits. If we are bad trees, then we are going to bear bad fruits. And as JPLC, we are definitely good fruits, good trees, and therefore we want to go around out there and give birth to good fruits. And our motto is amplifying Christian voices. Amplifying Christian voices by justice and peace. And to take us through the session of JPLC, because we would want to understand, we want our viewers to understand what JPLC stands for. I'll go straight and ask Elder Gitau to tell us about justice. What would our viewers take home as justice?
Maybe we look at the justice at home, justice in our country, justice maybe in our institutions of learning, and this cuts across about our interaction with our people in our day-to-day activities. Even at our roads, maybe you like to say, I need justice from the traffic police because maybe I've been robbed in one way or the other. But generally, justice means that no one is hurt, no one is brought to that state of being ile kufinyiliwa. That is it in Kiswahili. You find that maybe at home, for example, children may tend to run to their mothers because maybe the father is not giving the justice required after maybe a child has been harassed by the neighbor or among the siblings. In church, especially now that we are talking about Jprc, we have different groups in our church, especially in Pcea, whereby issues in terms of leadership, we like to see justice prevail, whereby maybe we have the youth, we have the women's guild, the PCMF, and issues of leadership may arise, and we tend to make them understand it is about peace, working together, and everyone feeling that for sure I'm not sidelined, I'm being considered, because in terms of human rights, justice may or is supposed to prevail. So justice is about feeling my rights as a person has not been infringed, has not been interfered with. That whatever I do, I feel I've gotten the right punishment, maybe, or I've been guided the right way, maybe, so that in the future I may not do wrong. I may be able to guide others to do what is right at any particular moment and time. Because in this society, each and every day, we meet people and our world is so dynamic. So may God help us to understand each other, because we are intended to live like social beings, whereby we are supposed to interact physically in oneness, in one Christ.
Thank you, Elder. Well said, like what it is written, that justice delayed is justice denied. So thank you very much. And we also read that tourism is not justice. And at JPLC, we have lawyers within us that are able to advise our viewers in terms of justice issues. Next, we'll go to peace. We said it's JPLC, and I'll to ask Nancy is going to take us through peace to understand what entails peace in JPLC. Thank you very much, Nancy.
Thank you, moderator. Peace is an element of love. If there's no love, there's no peace. So once, as a neighbor, as a friend, or a worker, you have love, peace automatically will prevail. Because without peace, we can't go forward. We can't be able even to do our activities. We can't be able to move from one area to another area because of the victimization. Where there is peace, there is no victimization. As JPRC, it's our motto to preach peace and to be able to release the knowledge of peace. It is so powerful even in our lifestyle, even in our own homestay. If there is peace, there is freedom and there is harmony of work, and the people settle without any victimization. That your neighbor does not, you don't mind to know that the tribe or even where one comes from, because love prevails and love is paramount, so that we are able to use our peace. Without peace, you can't have love. And I believe as Jprc, that is the pillar which is very, very, very powerful.
Peace is mentioned in the Bible 420 times, and we all know the gospel of Jesus Christ, where JPLC is actually enshrined, that it's all about peace. You cannot have justice. If you have no justice, then you will not have peace. If you are seeking for justice, you cannot have peace. So as JPLC, we have to also ensure that people have peace. That's why we have mediators who are able to go and mediate in different conflicts for people to live in peace and coexist. Thank you very much. Well put. So we are going to reconciliation, and the person who take us through reconciliation is Lydia. Please welcome Lydia.
Thank you very much, our chair. When we look at reconciliation as JPRC, is where it comes in from the point of where we are looking at what has been broken. If there is no justice, there is no peace, then that means that there is something that is not right, something has been broken, and it needs to be mended for people to live in harmony and for things to run in the right way. In this case, let's focus on when you're talking reconciliation in today's setup, let's look at a relationship. When we have a broken relationship, and from a biblical perspective, when we look at reconciliation, we see that when God had the mind of creating the world, he put Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. The relationship was very perfect. But because of disobedience, disobedience affected the relationship between God and man, and that led to man being evicted from the Garden of Eden. But then we see again from the same Bible, Jesus comes in the New Testament to reconcile that which was broken in the beginning. And now for us, we at JPRC, we are following the steps of Jesus by looking at what is that has been broken and how do we mend it. Let's look at example like the story of Jacob and Esau. That is a clear example where reconciliation takes place in a family setup and good things happen. Look at a story of Joseph and the brothers. Reconciliation happens, and something good comes out of it. The other area we need to understand is that what causes broken relationships among us in our community, in our church, in our society, so that we may understand when we are talking about reconciliation from a JPRC perspective, what is it? Number one, selfishness. Selfishness, it's a key drive when it comes to matters injustice and lack of peace in a society or a community. Disobedience, ignorance, pride, misunderstanding, betrayal. Those are some of the causes of broken relationships among people. In terms of what are the consequences of these things that we are talking about, it causes a lot of emotional pain. There's also division, there's also distance, and that is why we are seeing a lot of people abusing drugs and alcoholism, broken homes because of these issues that we are mentioning. Then we look at what is the importance of reconciliation in this case as CJPRC. When we are pursuing reconciliation from a church perspective, what is the importance? Healing amongst our members, amongst the community. And when there is healing, there is peace, there is justice. There is unity. We work as one. Like, for example, the way we are seated today, we are working as one because there is unity, because we are pursuing one goal. So the same thing, when we are able to reconcile that which has been broken, there is always unity. And we know from the word, where there is unity, the Lord commands a blessing. Then we restore. From the way God has designed the world, is that he has a plan. He has what his design should be. And most of the time, because of the issues that I mentioned earlier about selfishness, pride, and what it causes, in most cases, what was perfect is broken and distorted. So when this happen, when we pursue reconciliation as the CJPRC team and even the community, there is restoration. What was supposed to be is restored. Then let's look at the process of reconciliation. It's number one, we need to acknowledge that something has been broken. When we acknowledge that something has been broken and need to be fixed, then the process of reconciliation has done what? It has started. Then forgiveness. In most cases, when a relationship is broken, there is no forgiveness. So forgiveness needs to take place, and forgiveness from a personal level and also from to others. Then there is transformation. Transformation comes in now where we are moving from the point where things are broken to where things are supposed to be better. And there are those skills that we are supposed to acquire for us to get there. As ourselves or even other people have the skills, and they can support us with the same skills, like mediation in case there's a legal dispute among the family members, maybe issues to do with paralegal, counseling. Those are the things that we need for restoration, for transformation to take place. And something we need to understand as I conclude is that reconciliation is not a one-off event. It is a continuous process for justice and peace to be acquired. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Well put, that reconciliation is about broken relationship. And I'm trying to think, I'm wondering, is there a broken relationship between the church and the state? Because the state cannot operate from the church, and the church cannot run away from the state. So maybe we are calling for reconciliation within the state and the church. Thank you so much. Lastly, we would want to talk about the creation. What is it about creation? Why is it under JPLC? And that I'll ask our Elder Nancy to expound on that.
Creation comes from God. God created the heavens, the earth, and even the waters. God created man according to his own image. The same God created the animals in the air, animals on land, and even animals in the sea. God even created the trees and the plants that are there so that the animals could feed on those plants. The trees could attract the fresh air that we breathe, and the trees could also attract the rains. And therefore, when we talk about creation, we are supposed to preserve God's creation by preserving the environment. When we talk of the environment, we talk about the pollution of the environment. If we cut down the trees, we don't have enough rains, and therefore the plants, we miss plants to feed the animals and even to feed human beings. When we cut down trees, we don't even have enough air for human beings and even animals. Human beings need oxygen. That exchange is done within the plants, the carbon dioxide that we breathe out, and then the oxygen that we breathe in. When we lack enough oxygen, we suffer from diseases. We also need to preserve the environment through getting rid of stagnant waters. We are supposed to open the drainages so that water can flow, so that we can stop breeding mosquitoes which will also affect human beings and they get unwell. Therefore, as a church or as a community, we need to partner with institutions that actually sensitize people on how to preserve the environment. We need also to cut down long grasses. We need to do landscaping. We need to ensure that what God created is preserved. If we throw dirty things into the sea, the fish and the animals in the waters that God created also die because of pollution. So all around, as JPRC, we need to advocate about the environment to be kept clean and also to be preserved. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Elder Nancy. You have put it very well. And from there, what do I pick? That God created the heaven and earth. And the last thing he created was the human being. And when he created the heaven and earth, he said it is good. So then he created the mankind, and gave mankind the choices and the power over his creation. So he gave, and he called us the procreators, that we are creators with him. And then God gave us the authority over all these. Therefore, we have the authority to destroy creation and we also have the powers to create it again. So therefore, it is our responsibility. God is looking at us to take care of his creation, and therefore when we don't take care of it, then it becomes a bigger sin, because there's a first sin. We are destroying what God created. That is very powerful. So the mandate for JPLC committee or group is very wide, and that's why I said our motto is amplifying Christian voices in a justice and a peaceful manner. And to crown it all, then, how do we go about doing all that? We have the mission and we have the vision. So I would call upon Mr. Miano to take us through what is the vision for JPLC and what is the mission for JPLC.
Our vision as JPRC is having a just and caring society based on Christian and good values. That means that we should have a just society that has no corruption, a society that is well arranged, so that we can live in a good way. I think even in the Bible there is the saying that first love your neighbor. So in our vision, we would like people to live well as brothers and sisters, to be just, to have no corruption in our country. For example, you know, the system has been very corrupt in Kenya. To avoid such things, it's good to be just and to understand that when you are being corrupt, you are still destroying your own country. So this teaches us to be good and have good values, good moral values. And when you are Christians, in Christianity, we believe in God and we fear God. So it's good to be somebody who knows there is God, and you have that fear of God, so that you can be a person of good values. Secondly, in our mission, is to glorify God in furthering his kingdom. Glorifying God and furthering his kingdom is in preaching, evangelizing, to get people know about God, to understand who is God, so that you can change and be saved and be yourself, so that you live in a good way, ukijua Mungu na ukimtegemea yeye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John, and everyone of us who have participated in this show. And to sum it up, I would want to mention that JPLC is enshrined in our Practice and Procedure Manual of Pcea under Chapter 26, and we actively participate in the two problems of the church that the church undertakes, that is theology and governance of the church. And that's what we endeavor to do. Thank you very much.